I tagged wealth from zero. Wealth from zero. I started the whole conversation yesterday, how we can build wealth from zero. And I started by saying that wherever it is you are starting from, see that as your zero. That's your start point. Anywhere we see that we are starting from, we must equate that to be, thank you for our start point. And I said, but we can build from there. We can build from there. I also mentioned yesterday that from what I have studied and I have seen, you can theoretically grow. Anybody can grow when it comes to wealth. You can go from 0 to 100. Hey, Adetomiwa, good evening, sir. The same way, you can also be rich and go broke. So I said everybody starts from somewhere. Everybody starts from somewhere. Everybody starts from somewhere. So the question is not where you are starting from, but we all start from somewhere. So yesterday I said, for you to build your wealth, there are three things involved that you would always need in life. I talked about the fact that you need time, you need knowledge, you need money. But I also said, out of these three, you only need two to get the third. Trying to summarize what we discussed yesterday. And I said, in trying to get this done, what you may have right now is just time. Because somebody might say, oh, but the problem is I don't even have money. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sam King, for following since the Honest Bunch. I said, the truth might be, hi, Mommy Ben. I said, the truth might actually be that, oh, you are saying, oh, right now, I do not have the funds to even start up something. I said, when you do not have money to start pursuing your dream, automatically it means that you need to find somewhere to serve. If you don't have money to build your dream, you don't have money to start your dream, you don't even have a direction to use for your dream, find somebody to serve, find somewhere to serve. And I also said, if you are serving anywhere, what is very, very important? What is very, very important is wherever it is that you are serving, you are going to be used. You are going to be used. Sorry, just a minute. So I said, you are going to be used. I said that yesterday. I said, but where you are serving and you are being used, what simply happens is you start growing in knowledge. You start growing in knowledge. So essentially, you are using your time to grow your knowledge. Hi, patience. You are using your time to grow your knowledge. So you keep giving time, you keep giving time, you keep giving time, because your knowledge is growing. Sorry, just a minute. The unit is just. So, sorry, just a minute, please. Just have to quickly reply to this. Sorry about that. So what else? Hi, good evening, Adeni Yifunke, Adeni Yidefunke. So I said, if you do not have money to start your business, or you do not have enough funds to pursue your dreams, or you do not even know where to start, find somebody to serve. And I say, wherever you are serving, get ready to be used. So what are the consequences of starting small? What are the consequences of starting small? Now, the number one consequence of starting small at level 1, the number one consequence you need to know as a reality is, the number one consequence you are going to have as starting small is you are going to be broke. You need to understand that. Because you see, at that level where you are starting small, a lot of people assume when I start small, the goal is to be rich. No. When you start small, the goal is to grow in knowledge. The goal is to grow in knowledge. I don't know if somebody understands what I'm trying to say. The goal is to grow in knowledge. The goal is not wealth. Because you see, at that level, you do not have money to buy time. So let me explain what I mean. When somebody that has money wants to start business, they have enough money to make all the mistakes quick and start making money. But when you are starting without money, you are going to take time to learn the ropes. You are going to use time to learn the ropes. So it means you are spending time to learn. So your reality is you will be broke. Things will be hard. Because I feel at times a lot of people make this whole entrepreneurship journey look like once you've gotten that great idea and you implement, bam, you have made it. But the reality is not like that. This is the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship. Your business plan will not pan out the way you planned it. The reason why we say you should have a business plan is so that at least you have a direction when you start, not a destination. I will say that again. Your business plan is meant to give you a direction, not really a destination. Look at people that have had business plan. Ask how many of you really ended when you started where your business plan pointed. It doesn't really go that way. Hey Mosuru, good evening, agent in my 12. Pleasure to connect with you, sir. You can visit the farm with fellow agents who will host you on the farm. Let me know when you can come. So the reality is this, that in the start point, at that start level, we are not trying to blow. We are not trying to be billionaires. We are not trying to be millionaires. We are trying to build knowledge. Because anything that makes you enter stage 2 without gaining all the necessary knowledge in stage 1 will be catastrophic. It will be catastrophic. Now, somebody might be asking, how do I know that I have graduated from phase 1 as a business? How do I know it is time to leave phase 1 and move to phase 2? You leave phase 1 when you start getting results. You see, people can question your process. People can question your struggle. People can question your journey, but nobody questions results. When you start getting results, hey Uncle Femo, a lot of people will start subscribing to what you do. As a matter of fact, when you are doing all your struggle in level 1, you are putting in your all, things are failing, you are trying, your knowledge is growing, but your pocket is empty and getting emptier and emptier. For you, you will think that nobody sees what you are going through. You will honestly believe that you are the only one that knows your struggle. You will honestly believe that you are the only one that sees the pain. You would convince yourself that nobody cares about you. But this is the beautiful thing about the business journey or the wealth journey. when your results begin to show forth, you will see random people that you never thought even noticed you come around to say, can we invest? Oh, I have some money, can I give it to you to put in your business? So, level 2 of building wealth is other people's money. The level 2 of building wealth is other people's money. You see, because you do not have enough money to build your dreams alone. But you cannot take other people's money to build your dream if you have not really understood the nitty-gritty of building a dream. That is why in level 1, you had to bootstrap. We had you do everything alone. We had you suffer alone, cry alone, and everything. And this is where a lot of people make mistakes. Because you see, the only person that can truly say, I have gotten results in all sincerity, is the person in the journey. Because as the person watching from outside, I can assume you have gotten results based on what I see. But it is you that is inside the boat that we say, no, maybe you are seeing the result, but you are not seeing the result I want you to see. Or, I have not gotten to the point of the result I need you to invest in. Let me give you an example so that this will make sense for farmers watching this. Why is it that a majority of farmers who collected money for investment failed? Why did they fail? Why is it that the majority of farmers that collected money in the name of investment, they failed? Because all of them cannot just be scammers. It cannot be true that all of them that collected money took as scammers. Sorry, just a minute. Just a minute. So because today is our resumption day, we have students resuming today, yesterday. So a lot of people, this, that. Made 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. So, why is it that a lot of them failed? Number one reason was most of them assumed they had gotten results and went ahead and collected other people's money. Some of them actually got results at a 1 plot scale and scaled to a 10 plot or 10 acres or 20 acres. I would explain that. I will still come back and explain that. So they scaled too fast and it failed. Number 3 are those that depended on the expertise of third parties, assuming that, oh, this thing would work. Let me say this. I know a lot of people probably don't like saying this. Farming, I'm not talking about agriculture as a value chain. I'm talking about farming as primary production. Hey, Madam Damilola, well, good evening, ma'am. Thank you for joining. If you look at the whole of the agricultural value chain, the riskiest parts that you can put money is primary production. The riskiest part that you can put money is primary production. I have had the privilege now of playing across multiple areas. I have played in research and development. With research and development, whatever result you get is a result. It does not have to be positive. It just needs to be duplicatable. If we can replicate your result by following what you said you did, then it is a result. I have done primary production. I have done acclimatization. I have done tissue culture. That's laboratory part. I have done, what is it called? I'm doing processing. I have done, that's value add processing. I have done logistics. I have done a bit of distribution. I can tell you for free that the riskiest part you can put your money is primary production. That is the riskiest part. That is the riskiest part you can put your money, primary production. And the earlier we understand this, the better for us. Because it means before I say I am going to a third party to collect money, I need to have understood in details the nitty-gritty in details. What does this thing entail? I need to have understood it. It cannot be ṣùgbọ́n or tàbí. It cannot be I think it. No. I must be sure. And the problem is a lot of people enter primary production and start collecting money from third parties in faith. There is really no assurance. I always tell people, when people ask me, how do I know I am sure? You see, when you are in level 1 doing it alone, one of the things that is expected before you graduate is not just that you got results, there should be documentations. So that by the time I am hiring somebody to join me in level 2, I have a book I have given to them to read. Let me explain what I mean. So I want to farm tomatoes. I planted tomatoes, it died, flower abortion, disease, pest, so on and so forth. And finally, I got it right. Where a lot of people fail in business is they do not document. So I should have been writing, okay, I did this, it worked. I used this process, it worked. That is you developing what we call your SOP, your standard operating procedure. You write, you correct, you write, you correct, you write, you correct. You keep doing that again and again and again. It looks monotonous. It looks like you are wasting time. But trust me, you are gathering a data that would help you thrive. While you are still on that your small scale, using your money to struggle and hustle, Chinelo, please help me with crates. They did not leave crates. Sorry. Operations.
7, 8.
Operations. Operations. Sorry. Please switch to 7.
7.
Operations. Sorry, the farm is so large, so we have to use walkie-talkie to talk. Operations, can you hear me?
8.
Operations. No, she can't hear me. She's far off in her accommodation. So sorry, as I was saying, we don't have to get to that point where you know, okay, this thing that I have documented, can I give it to somebody else to use? And if this person uses what I documented, will they get my results? Until somebody else can use my document to get my result, I have not transferred the knowledge. Because what some of us do is, what you try to control the whole process by ensuring that nobody knows it until they come to you as Oga. Now, back to that level 2. In level 2, before you, as you start to collect people's money, what is the yardstick for how much you collect? Operations, can you hear me? Okay. What is the yardstick for how much you collect, so that you do not go and collect and put yourself in trouble? As you raise money through third parties, key, any money that you collect that we need you to hire an extra staff, you have collected too much. I will say that again. Maybe at level 1, as you are bootstrapping, putting your profit, everything into your business, you had 5 staff, 10 staff. And now, you now went to go and raise funds. As you started raising that funds, you now suddenly realize, I need to hire extra 3 staff. In short, I need to hire extra 1 staff. Because you need to hire extra 1 staff to be able to use that money judiciously, you have expanded beyond your capacity. There is a likelihood of failure. Why? You see, you are still a small business. And what makes your small business to thrive is everybody in the business understands the CEO and the vision. Remember yesterday I made mention of the fact that as a small business, you don't hire competence, you hire loyalty. You know, I explained that yesterday. As a small business, you don't hire competence, you hire loyalty. Because I said yesterday that you do not even know the direction your business should go yet. I mentioned that yesterday. So, if you now go out and hire somebody that is an expert, the problem is the expert knows how to do things a certain way. So they will direct your vision towards how they understand it should go. So they will not allow it get a life of its own. Instead, they will build your vision in the direction of the life they have seen being lived before. And that can truncate the business's journey. Does that mean you cannot consult experts? No, you will consult them, but don't let them direct it fully. So, what then happens is, if you now need to go out to now say, hey, I am going out to go and get Dave Black, you're a comedian, I'm not sure what we'll be discussing if I add you to this. So you probably want to chat me up and say, this is what we'll be discussing. So, what then simply happens is, you need to be able to ensure that you are not taking more money than your personnel. Now somebody might be thinking, then how then do we grow fast? As you take that 2 naira, 3 naira, 100 million, 2 million at your level, start training more hands. I am one of those that believes 100% in internship system. What I said the Igbos have been doing called apprenticeship system. One of the questions a lot of people ask me is, for my son, when we come around the farm, you have great colleagues at work, they are really doing well and all of that. How did you get them? What is the secret? How can we get this kind of people and all of that? And I smile and I say, majority of our workforce were at one point or the other interns. They were one point or the other a part of work and learn or work, learn and earn area. But you see, when they get to be interns and they are working for free, it is easier to train them without the burdens of salary. I have given this example before, some people didn't like it. When I said, look at churches that grew, you would notice that the reason why a church, a mosque, why are they able to grow as organizations is because they build it on the backbone of volunteerism. The usher volunteers, protocol volunteers, usher volunteers, drummer, instrumentalists, all of these guys are volunteering. It is few of them that when they now become very big, that they are able to create a budget to pay salary. So the same way in your business, before you even start collecting money from people, create an apprenticeship system. Very important. That apprenticeship system that you have created is what will help you to start training hands. Is what will help you to start training hands. Somebody might be thinking, what if I have gotten this apprentice that I have trained, and this person is very good, but I do not have what it takes to hire you and pay you well yet. Release them, let them go to where they can be well paid. If possible, even be the one that helps them get the job offer where they will be well paid. Hey, Oga Jesse, good evening, sir. Because when in the future you need them, majority of them would happily resign and come back. So, before you start thinking of expansion, use apprenticeship system to train people. Train them. Somebody made a statement. He said some people are afraid that if you train them, they will go. Then the man said you should be more afraid that if you don't train them, they will stay. It is better to have properly trained personnel that leaves than untrained personnel that stayed back. Because you see, the growth of that business cannot be by your thinking alone as the CEO. You need to be able to harness the imagination and intelligence of everybody to make it grow. That intelligence diversifies. Some will think different things. Let me give you an example. I made a post this afternoon of the spice, the beautiful spice containers we are trying. I was not the one that came up with that. One of my colleagues did and said, no, they've been talking. And I said, these are the 4 that we have chosen, but the vendor is saying we should pick what they should produce. Farmer Sam, choose, because we are divided on what we should choose. And I'm like, everything seems good. Can I make decision based on the amount? They're like, no. So I don't even know what it will cost. So I said, okay, we put it online. Whatever we see, that becomes the final part. So you must train your personnel. You must create an internship system that allows you to train people for free while they are working for free, and start to see, because your business is small, your numbers of staff are small, it is easy to bring in somebody that destroys the culture that you are building. But if they are interns, it is hard for them to destroy the culture, because once you see they don't fit, regardless of how good they are, they have to leave. So, number 2 is cultural fit. This is why you cannot just go and hire people off the shelf. Yes, off the shelf. Because they may not fit into the culture of what you are trying to build. Every business has a culture. Every business has a culture. And you must not hire people that do not have cultural fit of your business. When I say cultural fit, I'm not talking about state of origin. No. So, before you collect people's money, you must think around that. That you know you cannot bring in new people. I cannot bring in new people. Number 3 thing to consider before you collect too much money is, are there technologies I am going to get because of this plenty money I am receiving? If the answer is yes, then that is too much money. Don't touch it. Because you are only meant to expand what you have handled, not what you will handle. It is what you have handled that you are permitted to collect money for. You need to understand that the person that saw what you are doing and reached out and said, "Hey, Baba, can I give you money?" They are not giving you money from the love they have for you. No, they are giving you money based on the results that they saw. So they are investing in the results they saw in your business. They are not investing in your business. You must differentiate these two. I will say that again. They are, Mommy, how are? Good evening, ma. Mommy, how are? That's our mommy all the way in Niger. Thank you, ma, for joining. The person that is seeing your business and trying to give you money, they are investing in the results they saw in your business. They are not necessarily investing in your business. Because remember, they saw you struggling all along, they didn't come. It is, thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much, ma. We'll be coming, giving you feedback soon about Niger, ma. Thank you so much, ma. It is what they saw that is making them come. So you cannot now come back with excuses. Oh, sorry. You cannot now come back with excuses. Because you might be like, well, when they give it to me, they're like, I believe in your vision. I trust what you are building. We just want to be a part of it. We want to grow this thing with you. Beleo, grower. Then things now went wrong. You are now saying, oh, sir, they will understand. No, they won't understand. They are not meant to understand. They are not there to understand. Are we together? They are not there to understand. So whatever it is they say, accept it. Whatever it is they say, accept it. So as a business, before you start taking other people's money, number four nugget, do not accept expansion without growth. I will say that again. Do not take money for expansion without growth. Because you see, in primary production at Greek, when you start, there is a place for growth and there is a place for expansion. Let me explain. Let's say this my book is a plot of land and I planted tomatoes on open field. Let's say in my first cycle, each plant gave me 500 grams and I have 10 plants on this place. It means because each plant gave me 500 grams, what I am getting is 5 kg. Now, what a lot of people do is, because they have consistently got 500 grams per plant, which is 5 kg, they go and collect money to expand this to maybe 10 plots or 20 plots or even 2 plots. But you see, that is an error. Why is that an error? From when you started the business, you have not grown. Remember what I said in phase 1. The whole purpose of your suffering, the whole purpose of your toil, the whole purpose of phase 1 in trying to grow is you must grow in knowledge. And your growth in knowledge would also show a growth on the farm without a difference in size. Meaning, it is either I am able to get more yield per square meter, or I am able to get the same yield at a reduced cost. Hope I'm making sense. Chad B, good evening. So, excuse me, I am either able to get more yield per square meter, or I am able to reduce my cost to get the same yield. So that by the time I am trying to expand, there has been growth before expansion. But a lot of people have not seen growth because people, because people saw the results, they are willing to expand. But the issue is you have not seen growth before expansion. And any growth that comes before, any expansion that comes before growth will lead to doom. Any expansion. It has happened severally. You would have seen people that has happened to severally in this industry. The person probably, I wish I could join Ms. Markin. This I could add that to this course. I should also give a thought. The person is doing storage or doing buying and selling. They went to the north, maybe brought yam. Usually people always start with small one first out of fear. So you brought yam, maybe 1 kg or 10 kg from the north to the south. When they brought that yam, they sold it half sharply. They're like, so this thing is easy. What's the next thing? They will now go and gather money from people and bring a container load. What then happens? Everything crashes. Because you don't have an SOP yet. You really do not understand the nitty-gritty yet. So, because you've not understood the nitty-gritty, the knowledge level is low. When you expand, the expansion will crash the business. Because there must be growth before expansion. So, as you are collecting money, ask yourself, has there been growth? If there has been no growth, the world may be seeing results on your own. Know that the results that they are seeing is not result enough for them to invest. It is not result enough to collect people's money and put in. Because you then know there and then, if I collect people's money, I am putting myself under chain. Under chain. Now, what are some of the things you need to know in collecting people's money? You must have a plan. You must have a plan. You must have a plan. I cannot state that well enough. There must be a solid plan. Because any money that you are going to collect, the plan should precede the money. The error a lot of people make when it comes to raising funds is they say they are looking for 20 million. They will not say if you want to invest 2 naira or 50,000 or 1 million. But the issue is you did not remember to tell your investors how much you are looking for. Error number 1. Error number 2, you collected the money. As the money was coming, you were putting it to use. Error number 2. Why is collecting the money and putting the money to use an error? Because it can so happen that you do not get all the money that you need. It can so happen that you do not get all the money that you need. And if you do not get all the money that you need, you have already dug yourself into a hole by collecting money and you have started spending. Hi Chidima, how you doing? Lawa, you say you cannot wait to have me on Thursday at personality lecture. Am I the one coming? Please write to the organization. Be sure that it's in my booking. I don't know if I'm the one, but write to them. Just write to Miss Grace. If I'm the one, she would let me know by Wednesday night. She plans my daily timetable. So, do you get the point I'm trying to make? You need to, so that if what you need is 5 million, you are able to tell people, because a lot of people make that mistake. You are able to come out and say, okay, we are trying to raise 5 million naira and we have a window of 1 month to raise this money. So even if you are investing, if at the end of 1 month we could not raise this money, everybody's money will be returned back with 0 interest. See, it would have saved a lot of people. But the issue is, you are too passionate about your dream to plan with reality. So you needed 20 million to start, maybe 1 million to clear, 1 million to this. So as the first 1 million came, bam, you sent it to clearing. The next one came, you sent it. This one came, you sent it. This one came, you sent it. You sent it. Now, halfway through, you are stuck because more money did not come. So what do? For some people, now the project is stuck. There is no money to continue. The thing dies down. You are now in debt. For other people, you got the money, but because more people were not dropping money, you had to go back and re-raise new money with maybe even a higher percentage. It now puts you in crazy issues. Somebody is like, oh, for myself, you are saying all of this because you've not owed before. That's why you are sounding like professional. I have owed before. I have done a crowdfunding before. So I speak from a place of experience because, hey, my Oga Naija farmer, good evening, sir. I had to sit down to start calculating what went wrong. How did you go wrong? So before you collect money, have a plan. Let the plan be clear to the people in your team and those that want to give you money. What we are trying to raise is 100M. We are using 3 weeks to raise this money. We are using 1 year to raise this money. Make it clear, if you subscribe and we are not able to raise this money between this allocated time, everybody's money will be returned. No interest, nothing. That way, people are committed because they now understand the plan. There must be specific KPIs. You see, that was why I said you cannot say you are bringing in a machine you've not used before. You've not tested the water. So you have been farming by yourself manually because you now went to collect money and you are doing more land. You want to do, what's it called, tractorization. You are bringing in machines and equipment. Once you bring in an equipment you have not used before, you have left farming, you are now in experiment, R&D, research for development. Once you expand to bring in what you have not done before, you have left farming to research for development. Because many a time, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And you cannot now go and start begging an investor to say, please, hey, Joshua, you understand. Number 2, the number 2 thing you need to do before collecting other people's money is make sure you have your personal cash available, preserved. If the project requires 20 million, have some at least 10% of that money available, untouched. Not the money you raised from people. Have your own personal, hi George, good evening. Have your own personal money that you have saved outside the project money. Because when you start running farm on a large scale, you will understand clearly why we say cash is king. Because there are little things you will need money for that are not in your budget. There are little demons that will creep up that are not in your budget, but you need to have cash available to quickly solve those issues. You need to have access to cash to solve those issues. The problem with a lot of people that did OPM in funding, doing that raised funds genuinely, people that did crowdfunding genuinely for their farms, is they put in all their monies and life savings into that project before they now raised funds. So when things started going wrong, they did not have any spare cash to fall onto. I am telling you for free, as somebody that has done multiple projects, I understand the importance of spare cash. I understand the importance of cash readily available. I understand the need to have convertible assets that you can easily convert to cash. Because at some point, shit will hit the fan. At some point, things will go wrong. At some point, things will not go as planned. When that time comes, you should have cash available. At that point, you should have cash available that you can quickly just jump and say, okay, let's take this money and quickly solve this thing. The reason a lot of businesses that seems to be profitable folded up is because they were not liquid. Liquidity, that is why you realize when you are talking about bank loan and all of that, one of the things they calculate is liquidity ratio. You cannot underestimate the importance of liquidity ratio. So you must be able to have some cash available. So I said, number one, have a plan. Number two, have personal capital, because shit will hit the fan. Shit will hit the fan. Liquidity is king, yes. Liquidity is key. As a farmer, even at our level, there are times shit will just come up and be like, Farmer Sam, we need this. I'm like, okay, how much? Okay, take, go and do it. And those things that you will need money for, if people hear the project failed because of that, it will sound unfathomable. It will sound like you are lying. It will sound like you are trying, you don't know how to lie properly, that you are trying to lie, but you don't even know how to think out lies. It could be something very minute. But open the door, open. But you need cash to quickly solve it. You need cash to quickly solve it. Thank you, the crates, Abi. Just let me drop them here, can be here. So that by 5 a.m. I will help you load them. You don't need to come by 5, it's just driver that needs to come. You don't need to come, only the driver is needed. Thank you. Good evening, Philip. How many crates were there before?
4, sir.
Okay, so everything will enter here.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. No, open the door. No. It's the other door you will close. Open this one. Open this one. I don't close this one. Thank you. It's the other one you will close. Sorry about that. So, you must be able to have some cash kept aside. That cash kept aside, you can put it in fixed deposit, you can put it, but somewhere that you can easily, because if it's in your fixed deposit, you can easily break it down. Don't go and buy bonds, don't go and buy treasury bills, something you can easily break and say, yeah, tomorrow, I need money, oh yeah, give me money back, sharply. Number 3 is, you must have what we call accelerate your strategic expansion. You see, expansion is not linear. It's not just a wow. In expansion, there must be a strategy. You see, because a lot of people have not defined which part of their business should be expanded. Let me give an example. I am fortunate that this year there is this program by Lagos State. For those of you that didn't apply this year, sorry, try and join next year. This year, Lagos State is giving out over 150 million naira to young entrepreneurs in something called Lagos Agriton. And I was opportune to be one of the mentors who gets to talk to the business, tell them, okay, how is your business doing? What do you need to do? What do you need to tweak? What do you need to change? I mean, you've already qualified, but now we want to ensure that your business is sustainable. And one of the things one of the things I love doing with businesses is understanding what they do and understanding what needs to be expanded and what needs to be kept as it is and what needs to be killed. Because you see, the problem with being a small business is you handle the A to Z of your business. And many a time, when we start thinking of expansion, we think expansion on the whole thing. We are not able to figure out that not everything that we are doing gives the same level of profit. So, not everything needs to be expanded. Not everything needs to be expanded. Very important. Just a minute, please. So not everything needs to be expanded. So I need to know what am I doing that needs expansion, so that there is a strategy to it. Maybe you are doing A, B, C, D, E, F, but the part of what you do that needs funding is not everything. Let me explain what I mean. Because you see, taking other people's money, you need to know where to put it when you are starting. So let's say come back to I have this plot of land, and I realize that I have moved from the earlier example I gave, I have moved from 500 gram per plant to 1 kg per plant. So my profit has doubled, though my input remained the same. But I noticed that, I went to somebody's farm. Because on my farm, I am the one doing the nursery myself. I am the one doing the growing. I am my own agronomist. I am my own fertigation expert. I am the one that we harvest. I go out and sell. So I'm doing like 6 or 7 things. I'm my own accountant. But I now looked at the whole operation and I said, I went to somebody's farm. And when the person gave me a small, let me use even a perfect example, tomato hormone that is used for pollination, so that the stamen, the pollen grains can stick properly to the stigma of the flowers of the plant. So I now saw that and I said, maybe the person now gave me a very little hormone. I tried it on like 2 plants. And the 2 plants I tried it gave me 2 kg per plant. By the time people are saying they want to invest, you know that common sense tells me that what I need to expand on first is not the land. What I need investment for, if I cannot afford it, is just to buy hormone, so that I can go from 1 kg per plant to 2 kg or 3 kg per plant. You see, I took investment, but rather than use the investment to multiply the land, I am using the investment to multiply the yield, because I have seen the place that is my X factor. So in business, we have what we call the X factor. X factor there represents the multiplication factor, meaning which part of this business do I need to put money to get the most returns? You talk to small businesses. I remember I was talking to one of them and the person said, I need money to buy a truck. And I was like, okay, I understand the sentiment wanting to buy a truck. Can we discuss what you do in your business together step by step? And the person was like, yes, why not? So we took time, started looking at, okay, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do. Okay, what is it costing you per part of your business? We started taking it step by step. This is what this is costing you. This is what it is making for you. What this is costing you, what it is making. What this is costing, what it is making. By the time we were done with the analysis, I said, buying a truck, although you are getting the money free from Lagos, the money does not grow your business. The money gives you booger factor, not growth factor. Person was like, wow, that's true. I said, because you think that owning a truck gives you, there's a word I use, owning a truck pushes you to your next level. I said, but the reality is, at this level, if you win the money and you get the truck, you have gone a step behind. I say the world may applaud, but your business has moved backward. So we said, we need to look at where is the S factor, where this money needs to go to. So that rather than spend 20, I think it was 29 million they wanted to spend, rather than spend 29 million on a truck, this 29 million or even 5 million can go to a different part of your business, and people will start thinking you did blood money. I said, because the problem is a lot of people have taken OPM to expand their business without understanding where they should put money. A lot of people do that. You just assume because you have money, it is time to expand, but you are putting money on the part of the business that is not the best S factor. We call it S because we are looking at how much more can this multiply you. How much more? There are places in your business you put money that is a multiplication factor of 2. But there are other areas you put money that is a multiplication factor of 20. The same money, different outcome because different parts of the business. Let me not overflog that. Then, next, you must know how to diversify funding sources, even when you are doing crowdfunding. One of the things, I've spoken about this a while back, that helped me in my crowdfunding days was I diversified. Some came from individuals, some came from corporate organizations, some came from financial institutes. Diversify. All your funders cannot be your family and friends. No, Akbarai. Let some be friends, let some be family, let some be strangers, let some be cooperative, let some be institutions. The day I have time, I'm going to take time to analyze what all of these things mean, why you need the different sources for your business. Then, what are some of the don'ts you should not do? What are some of those things you must not do as you go into OPM level 2? Do not over leverage without a plan. Do not over leverage. Do not over leverage. You know, some people start putting, I have this land, I have this, I have this, I have this. You have over leveraged. You have overtold us what you have. The issue is when it fails, you have overbuilt our confidence that your failure becomes Jim. Don't over leverage. Don't borrow excessively. Because one of the bigger demons I have seen is when somebody is borrowing and for some reason people now are willing to give you way more money than you need and you're like, oh well, God has opened. I don't think I'm making any sense. Next, don't sacrifice your control or equity as you borrow money. Don't sacrifice your control. When as we continue in this journey, I will get to a point where I will tell you where you will sacrifice. You are still building. Don't sacrifice your control. I will say that again. Do not sacrifice your control as you build. Because many a time, you see people in the name of trying to raise money, they make all sorts of promises, even to the point of losing control. For some people, they hire experts. That one is even more common. You hire an expert and give control to the expert to make decisions. In the money that you borrowed at OPM level. The money that you borrowed at OPM level, basic. No, we don't do that here. No. You cannot relinquish your control. Don't neglect repayment obligation. You must have a plan on how to pay back before you even borrow. You must have a plan. In short, as a matter of fact, when young people come to me and say, hey, Farmer Sam, I'm trying to raise funds and all of that. One of the things I always tell them is, when you borrow this money, imagine the business fails. How can you pay back? They're like, no, it will not fail. No, it can't fail. I'm like, I know it cannot fail. But what if it fails? I said, do you know that if somebody had told the world that this is Jesus, the Son of God, and somebody then said, what if they kill him? Somebody will be like, he was called Son of God. You can't kill him. He will even raise himself. It will never happen. Then Jesus, no, it can't happen. So what if it fails? You see, because a lot of us go out to borrow without thinking, without thinking of how to pay back honestly. Your thought on how to pay back cannot be dependent on the success of the business. No. That is, see, think about it. One of the things I tell people is before you go and start raising money, go to a bank and tell the bank I want to borrow money. That is one of the yardstick I tell people. That was going to be the last point anyway, but let me bring it up now. I tell the person, go to the bank and tell the bank, I want to borrow money. I say, when you get to the bank and you tell the bank you want to borrow money, I say, listen, whatever amount, no, OPM, other people's money, OPM. We are talking about how to build wealth. I started yesterday. Now we are at OPM, taking other people's money to grow your business. This is not operations performance management or operations profit margin. No, I'm talking about other people's money. What are the things you need to do, put in place before you take other people's money and put in your business? What are those things that you need to do? So I tell people, before you start raising funds through family, friends, strangers, and all of that, go to a bank. Whatever, excuse me, whatever amount the bank says you qualify for, you should not raise more than that. I will say that again. You are trying to raise 50 million. You went to the bank said the only thing you qualify for is 2 million. Baba, don't raise more than 2 million. Because what the bank is saying indirectly is, we have done our background check. We have done our background check. We have done our analysis. What we have come up with and agreed is, this thing, 2 million is what you can cover with your assets. I hope I'm making sense. Hope somebody gets what I'm trying to explain. So, all I am saying is this. Before you think of raising that cash, think, how will I pay back? How will I pay back? How will I pay back? Don't just think of what the money can do. What if the money fails to do what you thought it would do? How do you pay back? How do you pay back? Number 4 or number 5, use OPM for only growth. Use OPM for growth. You see, some people will not like this. OPM is not the best for expansion. OPM is best for growth. When we get to the 3rd level, I will tell you the money you need for expansion. You see, the reason why OPM is not the best for expansion, but OPM is the best for growth. In growth, you are still building the system, but you are optimizing the system. So we use OPM to optimize system. It's other people's money, so that you cannot come back and say, Moti, over expand. OPM is not patient capital. OPM is not patient people. What is the difference between growth and expansion? I've explained that before. Let me explain growth and expansion again. If this is a farmland, expansion is I am buying extra land or renting extra land. That is expansion. Growth is I am producing tomatoes here. Initially, I was getting 5 kg from this land, and the 5 kg was costing me 5 naira to produce. Growth is I am either using 5 naira now to get 10 kg from the same land, or I am using 2 naira to get 5 kg. That is growth. So, growth is optimizing your existing system by changing some key things within the system. Expansion is enlarging the system. OPM is meant for growth, not expansion. OPM is meant for growth, not expansion. As much as you can, do not use OPM for anything that does not relate to growth, because it is most likely premium tiers in the waiting. Look for people who collected money or OPM, other people's money, and put it into expansion. Majority of them do not have good testimonies to share. I am telling you that for free. Majority of them do not have good testimonies to share. Majority. Finally, listen to experts. I did not say hire them. Listen, ask questions. Don't run on your vision alone because you have passion. Ask questions. Ask who have passed that road before, how this road be. Now, as I round up, what are the consequences of OPM? Or the feedback, or what will happen when you take OPM? One of the good things with OPM is you will have money to run your idea. The biggest problem with OPM is most of the people that will give you money at this level are using the money for survival. So they can call you for any emergency at any time. At any time. At any time. Forget say you sign contract. If something hits wall, they will call you, say, Baba, I beg you. If you send me part of that money, I sure if you will reduce the profit, I not care. I beg. So it means under OPM, you don't have peace of mind. People can even be judging your standard of living. You see, say the person when you invest in a business on Monday, the next day they tell you, say, they particularly say this life is good. You'll be thinking, Sure, some of you might even send message to the person, Baba, hope you are fine or have business. Hope this one you're saying life is good. Hope all is well. So you don't have peace of mind. You don't have people just are not in your business because they want to be sure that they will get their money back. I didn't want this to pass 10 p.m. It's already 10. Thank you all for joining. I hope we learned a thing or two. So tomorrow we'll move gradually to level 3. So notice in level 1, you were using your money. You can't live your fake life in peace. So in level 1, we talked about you not having money, you are suffering. But in level 2, the suffering is gone, but you don't have peace of mind. So you traded your suffering for lack of peace. In phase 1 of trying to build wealth from zero, you had no money, but you had peace of mind, and just hunger. So now hunger, they disturb your peace, but nobody say they owe anybody. So if you hear back, now hunger, they knock, nothing else, you were fine. But in level 2, right now, hunger not be your issue, now peace not there. You can see that life is fun, Abby. So tomorrow, thank you for all joining. Madam Vivian, thank you for joining. Thank you, Patience. Tomorrow we continue. We'll then enter the 3rd level. So that you see, when I say anybody can build wealth, you see I was not lying. Anybody can build wealth. Anybody can build wealth. Can you ask a question? Yes, Sam King, please ask your question. The risk outweighs the advantage. My YouTube channel is my name. Just type my name on YouTube, it will come out. Just type my name on YouTube, it will come out. If you type my name on YouTube, it will come out. If you have time, and then if you go to my YouTube page, I have lots of lectures. I have lectures I have recorded, more lectures since 2020 or 2021, no, 2020, 2021, that actually sits down. I have more lectures on YouTube than I do on other social media platforms. There, I think I even taught extensively on sales and marketing on YouTube. I taught extensively. I think we should be having, I don't know yet, I'll ask head of business. I'll ask head of business around the next executive training, our exec training. I think the last class we did 500K, whether we should do the next one 1 million naira per person. Is farming really profitable in Nigeria? Yes. You see, that is why, if you notice, a lot of people that got into farming did not take time to understand the business of farming. And if you ask anybody that has probably attended my classes one-on-one when I start teaching on the business of farming, there is that realization of, I have gotten a lot of things wrong. Because you see, the business of farming is a whole different level. And the problem is, in anything that we've ever studied in school, nobody took time to teach us the business angle. Nobody took time to teach us the business angle. And that is why, as a person, I took it upon myself to say, okay, in this agric space, what role, Uncle Miracle Victor, what role do I want to play? And I said, I want to stay in that gap to provide knowledge. To provide knowledge. I can't remember the name of the documentary. I would have given you the list of some of the richest billionaires in the world. And you will be shocked to realize that these guys are farmers. These guys are farmers. Because they got to understand, in short, I wish I could, let me not disturb that. I would have called him up if I could bring him on live. Pastor Debo Onofowora. You see, there is a place I went to in the Netherlands, and when I came back, I started having a rethink, which is what is pushing the direction to which we are going. It's in the, I don't remember the name of the place in Netherlands. It's not Amsterdam. I don't remember the name of the place. It's not Rotterdam. I can't remember the name of the place now, but when we got there, is a village close to where you have the floral village. The floral village is where you have all the major flowers being sold. So you bring in flowers, they come there, auction and all of that. No. Does growth mean you leverage technology to expand your productivity in terms of output, by which you went ahead to get equity via OPM? No, not equity. So you need to know, you might be using technology. It might be hiring an expert. It might be anything. But you need to know, what am I using for growth? You need to know. You need to know. I don't know if that makes any sense. It may be technology that you need. It may not be technology. It may be a tweak. It may be hiring. It might be buying a better seed. It might be buying a better fertilizer. It can be anything, but you are optimizing the system. So back in the example I was trying to give, we went to the community, and I was opportune because I went with, it was the Dutch embassy that the Dutch government that invited me. So I was opportune to meet some of these farmers, 40 of them, 40. These 40 farmers came together as a cluster. And the 40 of them set up a processing facility that is worth $500 million. You heard me well, oh? And then after that, it made me sit down to start studying farming. No, I started studying developed nations where farming thrives. I started studying developed nations where farming thrives. That was when I started realizing, oh, this is where we are getting it wrong in Nigeria. Oh, this is what we are doing that is wrong here. And this is where and how we can correct it. So, is farming profitable? Yes. But for a lot of people, it's a struggle and a hustle, because they have not understood the business of what they are doing. They are still hustling in like somebody doing buying and selling. I buy at 5K, I go sell at 5.5. They've not understood how to integrate in all the costs and how to now sit down and say, okay, let me give an example. Okay, let me use that example because this is life. It's a crazy example, so nobody will feel bad. But hope we understand what I mean. Is it profitable? Yes. I tell people every time, I'm a full-time farmer. I am still on the farm as I speak. This is 10 p.m. I'm going to sleep on the farm. I am a full-time farmer. I am not a part-time farmer and part-time other thing. I don't know if there's any other question. Any other question? Any other question? Hope I answered you. I hope I was able to give a response. No, I've explained using the, and that's growth. Because what those farmers did, Fapi, is I was answering the first question of, is farming really profitable? It was that one I was answering with the farmers in Netherlands. They became a cluster. They understood that, see, and the funny thing is, if you study, let me give you an example, study the American system of poultry farming. I took time to study that extensively. They have about 4 or 5 major companies that run the whole poultry value chain. They are the major players. They hold over 90% of the poultry value chain on ground. Over 90% of the value chain. And what I realized was they own the farmers. Like, you don't understand that. Because the American system of farming and the rest of Europe is different. So you realize it is the processors, the big guys, they own the farmers. In Canada, for example, that one is a different level because it is micromanaged by the government. Whereas a poultry farmer in Canada, from as what Daddy told me, a poultry farmer cannot have more than 500 broilers and not more than 1,000 layers, or vice versa, one of the two. Think about that. What is the one new thing? What is the one thing new farmers fall at? They fall at thinking that they need to own a farm to be a farmer. That's the one big thing. How many new farmers actually have a market? What you have is a promise of a market, not an assurance of a market. So you are going to see, think about it. You are a new farmer. You have not started selling anything. You are not taking from others to sell. You took all the money you have to go and put inside soil or inside one animal for 3 months, for 6 months, for 9 months. That is not passion being leading. That is not proof of passion. That is not proof of determination. That is not proof of faith. That is, in simple terms, stupidity at work. Because for somebody that does not have money, how do you tie down your money for long? What you know you could have and should have done is, how do I put my money to work first to give me returns? So that what I am tying down for, I don't know, I mean, that's a whole different conversation. There is a class I teach, I think that is not executive, that's which class is that now? There's a name I call the class. That one we don't even advertise it. It's a different class alone. Where I teach the difference between using farm to raise money and using farm to keep money. They are two different businesses. A lot of people who are starting business are running their farm like they are trying to save money. But the truth is, you are trying to raise money. So that is where I get to teach what are those crops that help you raise money, what are those crops that help you save money. What part of agriculture must you go into to save money? What part of agriculture should you go into to raise money? That is when I start teaching on things like, what are those things you must invest in if you want a farm that will be a succession? What would be my advice to an economist or social scientist involved in agricultural value chain who aspires to rise to the top? It's not about what you studied. It really does. I didn't study Greek. I studied biochemistry. From BSc to PhD level, I've got MBAs and all of that. It's not whether you are an economist. See, if you're an economist or social scientist, understand what you know very well and use that to create a niche for yourself in Agric. And use that to create a niche for yourself in Agric. If that makes any sense. See, I can say this boldly anywhere, that one of the reasons why most farmers cannot compete with me easily when it comes to the science of agriculture as it relates to health is because of my background in biochemistry. It's because of my background in biochemistry. That is why I opened a lab. No normal person that studied agric will be that crazy to open a lab. You won't do that. But I am able to go and sit in conferences and say, hey, whatever I am giving to you is healthy. I can tell you the phytochemical analysis, the antioxidant analysis, the proximate analysis. I can tell you the nitty-gritty. That is my advantage. That is what I used in building my niche. When I noticed I have understood that, I took time, I studied the farming terrain, and I said, oh, another issue I have seen is there is a lack of knowledge in this space. Not a lack of knowledge as it relates so much to agric, but the business of agric. So I went for an MBA. After that, I'm like, Koto, saved, gathered all my money, went to Harvard Business School, registered. This was not sponsored by parents, sponsored by me. When I came back, when I finished, when I graduated, I drank Gary well. But I took disruptive strategy to understand. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not about just what you studied, is how does what I studied give me an edge, a niche within this space. There is this young lady, Anna, I don't know if she's still online. Anna, she studied psychology. What is her niche today in agric that is giving her accelerated growth is she is the psychologist to farmers. She is also a farmer. But so when she is doing the psychology and psychoanalysis and all of that, she knows how to talk to you because she walks in your shoes. Can one say there is a deviation or lack of focus if they see the need to take up a job for the purpose of saving to farm instead of borrowing money? I taught that yesterday, that when you do not have money to pursue your dream, go and find a job. I said that yesterday, go and find where to serve. You are not deviating. I said that was one of the things I taught yesterday. Check my yesterday's video. I taught that extensively. And I said, when you find where just your glasses shows you are telling lies. Stanley, which lies? Stanley, tell me the lies I'm telling. No. Oga Stanley on TikTok. What lies? Say it, let me hear. Or tell me the part of the lies. So, it is not a deviation, not at all. Not at all. Mr. Udi Stanley is... I'm not one of those that does the whole, I know they say social media, because now I've said this severally. On social media, people assume, oh, you are all at the same level, but at times you must have sense. And I know that there are people on social media whose common sense is gone. Yes, psychology in agriculture, yes. You say, what is psychology in agriculture? There is psychology. Are the people in agriculture, are they not farmers? Let me ask the kind of question. Are they not human beings? Stanley, people in agric, are they not human beings? Is psychology meant for animals or human beings? Go, Stanley, since you seem to have small, what's it called? Because I know you have a smartphone, though you are not smart. Type on your smartphone, do farmers have psychological problems? If you read recently, how many farmers killed themselves in India, committed suicide? Why do you think they committed suicide? Most of them dropped notes that they killed themselves because of their farm. Because of their farm. Have you not heard a lot of farmers in Nigeria telling you they've shot, not even a lot of farmers, go around, you will see farmers that have shut down their farms. No, the guy is on TikTok saying that he's telling lies. The lady, go and check her, what's her name? Hannah Rotimi. Go on Instagram and look for her. Ask her what she does in agriculture if it is not psychology. They don't know. Canada gives mental health support to farmers. Stanley, you are here in Nigeria. You think you understand what life is. Your backwardness is not the reality of where the world is. The fact that you are backward and you don't know what the world is doesn't mean you know where the world is. Trust me, I'm telling you that for free. Thank God a few persons have been to the farm. Patience has been to the farm. On the farm, don't I have a health center? If I had the license, I could have built an hospital on the farm. So are those don't we have nurses, pure registered nurses? Are they not working on the farm? Are those nurses not working in agriculture? There is a course they've just started abroad. I'm just remember the name of the course. Just a minute, let me see if I can Google it. Medicine, I don't remember the name. Let's see if I can find the name. I can't find it. I think it's called. Let's Stanley, hope you are still there. Answer, because okay, yes, that's the course I'm trying to remember. Stanley, because I know you are not educated. You may have gone to school, but education didn't pass through you. Because you have psychology in agriculture, you're like, it's a lie. There is a course that just started called One Health. You know, you can go to school to study medicine. Abi? You go to school, you say you are studying veterinary medicine, medical medicine, and all of that, blah, blah, blah. A new course just got accredited called One Health. It's not even in Nigeria yet. Because until we start realizing that Nigeria is not the yardstick for growth, you must think worldwide and think how to localize it. It is called One Health. And One Health studies the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health. So, where medicine takes about 5 years or 6 years, abroad, not talking about Nigeria, Nigeria is 6 years, then 1 year housemanship and so on and so forth. Where medicine takes about 5 years, vet takes about 5 years, One Health takes about 8 or 9 years. Because you will study animal, study human, study environment. It is called One Health. And the reason why One Health was proposed is because the farmers in developed nations started complaining because they have to spend more. So you know that for developed nations, they have what we call HR, meaning Medicare. Not HR, Medicare. What's that thing called again? Health insurance. Yes, health insurance. But the issue is, health insurance, most of the hospitals that will take care of you are in the cities, far from the farm. Farms in developed nations is not like what you have here. You can have one person that has 2,000 acres of land, 3,000 acres of land. So try and imagine 5 farmers with 2,000 acres of land each. There is no doctor in their midst. If they are going to have any doctor around, it will be a veterinary doctor to take care of the animals. But for these farmers, they started complaining that the issue is for them to take care of their health, they have to travel far, which is a big issue. Then, for any place where you have people living, you're supposed to have what you call a community health center. We're supposed to have a community doctor that understands these ones are not specialists in treating people, but diagnosing communal diseases as it relates to environmental factors. So, the European Union had an agreement to say, let us create a course called One Health that discusses, so that at the end of the day, you are a specialist in health, you are a specialist in animal health, human health, and environmental health. So that such people, when they are posted to these farm regions, they are well paid, but they can do multiple things. So Stanley, sorry, it's a pity that you are not as enlightened as your phone. It's a pity you have a smartphone, but you yourself, you are not smart. If not, all you could have, because I always tell young people, before you go out and say, hey, you are lying, it is not true, Google it. Google is free. ChatGPT is free. Grok is free. There are a lot of free platforms to help your ignorance. So that in because there is this parable I heard while growing up, a lot of you have heard it, they say, when a fool is quiet, he is thought to be wise. So, what makes a fool foolish is when they open their mouths. Then you now realize their brain is coconut water. But shit happens. Imagine tourism in agriculture. Someone could just decide to be a tourist. Yes. There is a company called Farm Tour 2016. Check them out on Instagram. That is their full-time job. They are a company in agriculture whose full-time job is tourism. Is tourism. They visit farm to farm. Mommy Oyinda, the owner of Farm Republic. I know there is, I think whether it's part of the service of Farm Republic or another company, but I know she has a company that is basically for tourism, farm tourism. So our agric is still far behind. There is a farm just in Benin Republic called Shongai Farms. They are tourism. There is Almat Farms in Abuja. They have a tourism part to what they do. So somebody like a Stanley, when you now hear, you can also run a farm for tourism, he will probably say, no, it cannot be true. No. The part that people like that do not understand is agric is the one career that can employ almost anybody. I will give you an example. Because as a farm, we are big on training. This quarter, we are having people come from about 10 or so different countries coming into Nigeria to be trained. As a matter of fact, last cohort, we had about 30-something French-speaking people that came in. We only had a single facilitator that could speak French. Right now, we are working to say, okay, maybe we are going to employ another person who understands agric, but can speak French. And we are saying, worst case scenario, we hire somebody that speaks French and bring the person to the team and teach the person the agric so that they can function. So what got the person the job? French. So Stanley, you need to know there are a lot of things agric can give you power to do. Don't be myopic. It is okay not to have sense, but be willing to listen and ask questions. Another example is in this cohort, we have, not even just in this cohort, there is a training we do called Super, this, what's it called? Super Skill, ITF Super Skills, that we are part of those facilitating the class for the federal government. One of the young men in the class is a deaf and dumb. What does that mean? If we did not have a staff that could do sign language, we would have gone ahead to hire somebody that can do sign language so that we can communicate to that student in class. Automatically, just because of that one person. Just because of that one person, that person that does sign language has gotten a job on the farm. Agric is wide. And just again to reiterate for those that are like Stanley, there is a Stanley that said something on TikTok that what I am saying is a lie, that you cannot have mental health or psychologist on a farm. That's this Stanley. He was one that I think he has run away after I started answering him. That's why I'm telling him, so that in case he decides to come back later, so we see it. You are a social worker by profession and I advocate for climate justice and agricultural policies. Exactly. Agric is wide. Just know what you know very well. Find a niche in it inside agric. I say it all the time. My niche, what made me grow in agric? What made people say, oh, this guy knows his onions in agric? How many times have I come online to teach on how to grow tomatoes? How many times, some people have come to my training before. Miss Patience, Madam, I don't know, is it Miriam? I don't know if she's still online. How many people have come to my training before and in the class I am teaching you the 10 steps to get high yield? I don't do that. I don't do that. Instead, you will notice when you come for my classes, I focus on teaching you how the business of agriculture. Maybe Stanley thought it is the crop that needs psychology. It's not mine, I'm small sense, not they. He forgets that there are human beings managing the farm. Patience, you were in soilless. How many times did I come to class in the 3 months you were here to teach you 77 ways to grow plants? How to manage yield? I don't teach about the plants. What is my uniqueness? What is the thing that gave me a niche? I understand the science. I understand the business. What I teach most of the time is the business. Because the science that I know, most people will not be able to operate at that level. So I teach those that will understand it and now distill it to a lower level. And I am fine. But when I am talking to the FMCG companies, the big companies, and they're like, okay, I start releasing the science because they operate at that level. How many of you here go and buy food and you even go, how many of you buy food and take it home and use a penetrometer to check the sugar level? You don't. To check whether it is healthy or not? You don't. How many of you even buy packaged food and take time to read what is written? You don't. So which means the science I know is not what you need. Can I invite you to a virtual program on this issue you are treating? You will need to write, and then it's my head of communication again that determines what I go to and what I don't. It's always been there. That's why you have the agronomists that guide us on how to grow. Exactly. I am not. That is my niche, the science and the business. How can I convert my large ugu farm into wet? A lot of ugu ready for harvest on the farm, and there are a lot of dry ugu sellers out there already. And market women are not helping. They price down the product. Mr. Steven, where is your farm? Stanley run away, miracle, he don't run. He didn't say go free. I know at times people see me as that very quiet guy that doesn't have bad mouth. Ask those that have come to Soilless. Those that have come to Soilless and have experienced me. I have bad mouth too. Thank God for salvation. Stephen Aquino Latimi. Where is your, what's it called? Farm located? Just send me a message. I will send her email to you. Just send an email to her. She would decide who and who. Yes, I was a partner in Cohort 10 and I enjoyed your classes a lot, especially on discipline. Thank you, Aisha. Ibadan. Okay. Send me a message on DM me. We will look at what can be done. We have a large market for ugu, and who knows, our team will check out your ugu. If it is clean enough, we can take everything on your farm at a good rate. Yes, we have short programs and all. Once you send the message, I would send you and Farmer Sam and bad math. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Maybe because, on social media, people will just come and just they'll just hear, wow. Any other question? They'll just hear, wow, and just assume it will go. There are those people that need to sound nice on social media because, without social media, they won't eat. I am old. Sure, you know, I'm old. I am 43 years old. It means that I am of the old school version. So, that thing of, you can even say what you want to say in a respectful way. I am an old person, so I don't have that new Gen Z blood. There is a way to say what you want to say. Sorry, what was your question, Patience? I don't forget, not verse. I think I answered. You said, is it okay to go for a job? I said yes. Oh, thank you, Ehichi. That's great to know you are working on the job. I wish you luck. Just work. Results will come. I answered. I said yes. When you don't have money to pursue your dream, find somewhere to serve. If you are serving, remember that you don't have money. And when you do not have money, because this is the mistake, let me say that again. These three things are like three prongs. They are like three legs of a tripod stand. Money, time, and knowledge. You need to have two to get the third. But there are times you don't have two. Mr. Swanky, well done, sir. There are times you do not have two. When you do not have two, most of the time you would always have time. If you don't have money and you don't have knowledge, you are going to have time. So, you now need to take that time that you have, go and now look for where to serve. But you see, the mistake a lot of people make is, in their mind, I am trying to raise money. This is where people make the mistake. In their mind, because I am giving you my time, the goal is I want to raise money to go and do my business. But you see, that is the wrong mentality, because one, you may not be able to raise that money in that thing. Oh, you are the solar girl. Number two, you are going to be frustrated. Instead, the right mentality, Patience, is in this job that I am finding, in this space that I am serving, in this place that I am working, I am here to build my knowledge. Because remember, money cannot be gotten with just time. So what you can get with just time is knowledge. Because you see, money is a reward for value. Money is a reward of value. Value is a function of your knowledge with action acted on it. So when what I know becomes acted, when what I know is acted upon, over time, people will pay for what I know, and that thing gives me money. How much money I now get from what I know is now dependent on the branding I put on what I know. Hope I'm not confusing us. So what I know will determine my value, and what I know is what I will be paid for. But very important, what I know, the money I will be paid for what I know will be dependent on my brand identity as a person. Until I am able to build the brand identity of the business as a standalone, so that people can pay for it well. Yes, still get your good CGPA. Hope that makes any sense. So that by the time, keyword, by the time you now have the knowledge, it is the knowledge that you now have that becomes the negotiating factor for what you will be paid for the knowledge. What you will be paid. There was a time in my life I did consultations for free a lot. I attended people's training programs and trained for free a lot. There was a time. But what gets to, thank you, the gentle farmer, thank you for helping me set up the website. What gets to happen over time was, as people got to know what I knew, as they understood, the value they placed started increasing. As the value they placed on me started increasing, the money I also had started increasing. It's that simple math. Hope that makes sense. So, what you need to do, Judy, my Judy baby, how are you? Judy mama, my baby girl, my baby sis. So, what you need to do is use your time to build value. And the way you use your time to build value is to keep increasing in knowledge. So, anywhere you are working and they are not using you, then you are useless. Let them use you. Let them keep on low, as they are using you, because as they give you jobs and a task and all of that, they are building your knowledge. If you've ever heard me talk about how I started, I always talk about my former boss, Dr. Nobel Maroya. God bless him wherever he is. He pushed me into different parts in IITA. Were those days stressful? Yes. I ensured that we didn't have book log then. If there was, I would have said, go and check. At least my immediate supervisor, Oga Julius, is still there. You can ask him. He comes to the farm. I never got to IITA late once. The latest I enter IITA is 6:30 a.m. every day. For about 3-4 years that I was there, from my youth service day till I became research supervisor till I left. In my 3-4 years in IITA, I only got to IITA late once. And that day I got to work late, it was because I was sick. I was at home. And my overall boss now said they should go and pick me and bring me to the clinic inside IITA. Just once. Just once. Was it stressful? Yes. Those days, because as a couple, you will go for CDS. We were doing Thursday. Then we go to Money Year. But I will come to work first. Before I go to CDS, when I finish, I will still come back to work on my own. Most couples will go home. This thing about being used is what a lot of young people these days are running from. Yeah, that's where the knowledge and experience is gotten. Yes, you will be used. When people are shouting, be my mentor, be my mentor, this is why I tell people I can't mentor you. Because I can't mentor who I can't use. Mentorship is giving you tasks. Go and do this. Go and ask few people that are close to me that I say go and represent me in speeches or in programs. Really? I will tell you a night before. Most of the time, it's the morning of the program. I'll tell you, hey, how are you? I was invited to so place, and they said they've accepted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So please, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. They'll be like, what will I say? If you like, say rubbish. The story will get back to me. That is what mentorship is. What most of you have a role model, a mentor. How do you have a mentor that cannot shout at you? I'm not saying shout like in a derogatory way. That cannot correct you, that cannot keep you accountable. You are just living your life fala fulu fili fala. We spent another 30-40 minutes. Any other questions so I can round up? So we said level 2 is other people's money. Thank you, Funky Happy. Is the experience that we gathered from being used that is helping us. I mean, that's what helps. Somebody must use you. No, we can't leave this Lego because we have a lot of young people that you are broke and you want to relax. Like Koyemi, you are broke and you want comfort. You cannot grow in comfort. Look for an egg. Look for an egg that has a chick inside. If you help the chick to break the eggshell, that hen will most likely come out disabled. Because it is in the breaking of that eggshell that it builds its strength. It builds its strength. So you want to be comfortable and you want to be mentored. Which kind? I don't understand. It's not like you have an inheritance. You are not a trust fund baby. You don't have anything you are waiting on, but you want to relax and still make it. Even kingdom of God, they suffer violence. And only the violence, they take them by force. The whole kingdom of God, violence day. How much more kingdom of man? How much more kingdom of man? So, this thing about I want to rest, I want to relax, you want to just, no, not be so. You will be used. In using, people will start giving. You see, somebody is like, oh, I am working in a place, but they are just telling me, go and buy pepper, go and buy pepper, go and buy pepper, go and buy pepper, go and buy food, go and buy food. Show your value. They will give you more tasks. The task that you are assigned is what they believe you can deliver. When they are saying people should volunteer, wait extra hours, wait extra 2 hours in one lolly, and you are wondering why they only need to go and buy pepper and tomatoes, while others are given tasks to do. You need to ask yourself, can you value me? Thank you, Mr. Obi. He said he watched my program on Honest Bunch, and I talked about farmers improvising themselves, being improvised. Thank you so much. You have 2 agricultural degrees and you've never had anything with both. It's fine. Trust me, it's fine. I have plenty biochemistry degrees, up to PhD. I'm not using biochemistry to eat directly, but I am using it to eat through agriculture. You can choose to use it through any other means. It is fine. Trust. I am not one of those that say because you did agric, you must. You can use other things. How do you integrate someone that you work very well for you, but don't have the funds to pay? What can be done? I've said that before. I say if you have somebody that is working very well and you feel you are at that level where you need to pay them and cannot pay them, find a good paying job for them, release them, let them go. Don't now become the stumbling block in their life because they are good for you. Let them go. When they leave, you are the one. See, I'm not saying, hey, Oga Osaregun. I am not saying this from a place of theory. I have given this example before. Years ago, I had one particular intern. She was really, really good. Miss Modupe, she's currently in Abuja. She should be back by January. Very good. She was really, really good. But I knew at that point I could not pay her salary. But this lady is too good to be kept on working for free. What did I do? I walked to IITA myself, spoke to some of the guys I knew in IITA because I had worked in IITA to say, please, so I have somebody that is really good that you should give employment to. When there was an opening, they told me, I told her to go and apply. Now, don't worry. In her interviews, she aced it and she was employed on the spot. She worked with IITA for like a year or so. When I now had enough money to pay her even better than what IITA would be paying her, I reached out back to her to say, okay, auntie, guess what? We are now at that level where we can pay you. What do you want? Do you want to come back? She came back on her own. So if you have trained somebody that is very good, they are helping you, but you know you cannot pay them what they are worth, give them the option of leaving, help them create that option. Don't guilt trip them. Don't do emotional blackmail. Let them go. You are not a demon. Let them go. You love Agric, you've not had an opportunity to use it. Agric long. Agric plenty now. There are a lot of opportunities. Go out, check what you like. Visit farms, visit processing facilities, visit logistics. You don't even need to visit logistics. Follow one transporter so that you see what do you really like. Because at times you may just love the idea of having it as a hobby and not as a business, which is again very fine. Which is again very fine. Okay, since there are no more questions, thank you everyone for joining. I know there was somebody that was saying they want me to mentor, and the person who said I was not answering, it is intention I didn't answer. Not me say I not see him. And because my answer is simple, I can't mentor who I'm not seeing. I need to win. Okay, maybe for me, maybe because I'm probably not the best at mentorship. I mentor people that I know. Because my mentorship starts from giving you books to read because I know you. So I will first give you multiple books to read. Those books start changing the way you think, the way you see life, the way you respond to life. So by the time I have given you books, nobody under my active mentorship that has not read this year minimum, maybe 20 is too much, minimum 10 to 15 books. Because by the time you have read, I have been able to scatter and rebuild some foundation without talking. When you start reading initially, we will be reviewing the books. After we have reviewed some books, I now know you know how to think. So you will now read more books where I am not able to now, I don't have time to now come to you to be doing those books, but you now read it and interpret it on your own. Then you start asking questions. Then suddenly you now realize the kind of questions you ask will now start changing. How you think things will now start changing. Since you are not in Nigeria, you can start doing, I don't know which country you are, you can be doing trading, buy things in Nigeria and sell where you are. You can start from there, buy things in Nigeria, sell where you are. You are still in the buying and selling of agricultural products. And like Miracle said, look for farms there, just volunteer on weekends, just go and see what they do and be happy. Snap pictures, post it online, we will like it. So, I think there's any other question. There's any other question? Stanley, if you are still online, Pele, maybe I've entered you, that's why you didn't chat again. In the future, know how to ask questions. Know how to disagree politely. You can say, oh, don't say the person is a liar. That makes you an authority that you've caught the person in a lie. You could have asked, oh, what is the psychologist doing on the farm? I don't understand. I'll be able to now explain. Or please, can you shed more light on how a psychologist works on the farm? I thought plants don't talk. So there is a better way to ask questions. In, what is it called? In business, there is something called social etiquette, but there's another thing again. I'm trying to remember it. And it's very important to know that the way you ask questions is a pointer to how intelligent you are. Your intelligence is revealed in how you ask questions and the kind of questions you ask. There is a question you will ask that tells us you are a non-entity clothed with skin. So how you ask questions matters. Very important. How you ask questions matters. Very, very important. Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining. Have a great night. I have another class I need to join now. It's almost 11, so I can take water quickly before I join that. Have a great night. And oh, in case you are looking for people that will take your, I am also an online person. If you need to have me teach you classes online, pay for it, we will teach you online happily. We do that. Consultancy online. I'm actually that.